When you watch what is unfolding between Washington and Ottawa today, it hardly resembles normal diplomacy. It doesn't even feel like an ordinary trade quarrel. It feels more like two longtime partners splitting apart. For 7 decades, the line separating the United States and Canada was known as the longest peaceful border on Earth. It was dull, it was calm, it was secure. But as of today, that sense of security has vanished. Donald Trump attempted to box Canada into a corner. He assumed he was facing the Canada of the past, the courteous neighbor that always mutters sorry, the ally that bends whenever the White House raises its tone. He miscalculated. Mark Carney didn't flinch. He didn't beg for forgiveness. He didn't rush to Mar-a-Lago to bow. Instead, he did something unheard of from a Canadian leader in our era. He effectively told the American president to get lost. And the fallout from that single moment is already rippling through financial markets, through supply routes, and likely straight into your retirement account. Trump is livid, his staff is scrambling, and most commentators are overlooking the core story. In the next few minutes, I will walk you through what truly shifted, who lost their nerve first, and why the partnership you were raised to trust is officially over. So, let's slice through the chatter. Here is what actually unfolded over the last 2 days. It began, as usual, with intimidation. President Trump, irritated by the slow progress on the USMCA review, decided patience was finished. He logged on to Truth Social before sunrise and delivered an ultimatum. He ordered Canada to scrap its digital services tax at once and to open the Canadian dairy sector completely to American farmers. If Ottawa refused within a single day, he promised a sweeping 25% tariff on every Canadian vehicle and part entering the U.S. Normally, this is where Canadian officials panic. They dispatch envoys, they release gentle statements about partnership, they try to cool things down. That is not what occurred. Instead, Prime Minister Mark Carney stepped up to a microphone in Ottawa. He didn't appear shaken. He didn't seem furious. He looked like someone prepared for this exact showdown. He faced the cameras and answered with one word: no. He offered no alternative deal. He asked for no extension. He dismissed the demand entirely. Then he went even further. He declared that if the United States moved ahead with auto tariffs, Canada would instantly activate precise countermeasures against American energy exports and intellectual property. The online world exploded at once. Trump responded with a barrage of posts labeling Carney feeble and a puppet of global elites. Yet while Trump was typing, the markets behaved strangely. The Canadian dollar steadied. American auto stocks plunged. For the first time in recent memory, a U.S. president fired a threat, and the smaller nation refused to blink. They drew a weapon of their own. You have to grasp how extraordinary this is. This is not a minor trade disagreement. This is a rewriting of the playbook. Trump relies on leverage. He relies on being the giant in the room. But yesterday, he learned that leverage only matters if the opponent fears you, and Carney does not. I know that may sound exaggerated. I know it may seem like drama, but I want to lay out the evidence, because once you see the figures, you understand this is not ideology. It is arithmetic, and the arithmetic is shifting away from the White House. Consider Exhibit 1, the auto sector panic. Within half an hour of Trump's post, Ford and GM shares dropped sharply. Why? Because U.S. car makers don't merely purchase from Canada, they manufacture alongside Canada. One engine part can cross the border half a dozen times before becoming a finished vehicle. Slap a 25% tariff on that route, and you aren't punishing Canada, you're punishing Michigan, you're punishing Ohio. We heard reports from Detroit plants that supervisors were shouting into phones, trying to move components across the bridge before the clock ran out. They understand what Trump seems to ignore. You cannot assemble an F-150 without Ontario. It's impossible. Exhibit 2, the energy card. This is the angle rarely mentioned in American media. Many think Canada only exports maple syrup. In reality, Canada is the top foreign energy supplier to the United States, not Saudi Arabia, not Mexico, Canada. 6 out of every 10 barrels of imported U.S. crude come from the north. The Midwest depends on Canadian pipelines to keep lights glowing and factories humming. When Carney hinted at targeted action, he wasn't speaking about cheese, he was speaking about oil. He was speaking about the heavy crude that Gulf Coast refineries are built to refine. If Canada restricts that flow, even slightly, American gas prices don't creep upward, they explode. The mere suggestion of this sent energy futures climbing yesterday. That is the market admitting Carney holds a tool Trump cannot easily neutralize. Exhibit 3, the international network. Trump enjoys branding Carney a globalist. And yes, Carney belongs to the global financial establishment. He led the Bank of England. He led the Bank of Canada. He knows the power brokers in Zurich and London. But that is exactly why it matters now. While Trump was venting online, insiders say Carney was on calls not with Washington, but with Brussels, London, and Tokyo. He is building alliances. We're hearing of a joint declaration being prepared between Canada and the EU to safeguard global supply chains. Do you see the picture? Trump is playing checkers, trying to intimidate one rival at a time. Carney is playing multi-dimensional chess. He is gathering the world to isolate the U.S. stance. He is using his credibility to steady markets while portraying Trump as the source of turmoil. And it is succeeding. The Dow dropped 400 points yesterday. Toronto's TSX stayed level. That is the receipt that counts most. Capital is betting on Carney's calm, not Trump's disorder. So why is this unfolding? Why is the strongest leader on earth struggling to bully a nation the size of California? Because Trump is losing the storyline, trapped by his own methods. We've seen this script before. In 2016, it felt new. In 2024, it felt fierce. Now it feels predictable. Trump's approach depends on shock and awe. He strikes hard, he strikes quickly. He expects collapse so he can claim triumph. He needs a rapid victory for his supporters. But what if the shock fails? He has no second act. When Carney said no, he stole Trump's momentum. Now Trump must carry out the threat. He must impose the tariffs. And here lies the